Jahe.
Hold on. Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Studios podcast.
This is Vivi.
I'm Nini, and we're here with Sean Conley.
God bless. What up? What up, everybody out in cyberspace?
So Sean is one of the earliest members at the new and improved Rabbit Hole Studios.
Yeah!
It's been with us since the early days.
Jeffrey Roachstein.
Jeffrey Roachstein. Yep.
Since the universe just collided us.
I know, like in the
magical creation.
During the collapse of popular society as we know it.
Right, when COVID hit. My friend Gary told me, hey, I know this guy in Atlanta who is like all about the art and music, and he's like kind of looking for some new vibes. And I was like, oh my God, connect us. And we got our start with the tiny home. He was helping me fix up this tiny home that had a rotten floor, had some leaks in it. And we gutted it.
Right. Gutted it. Started putting.
That's amazing because it's like, the first time I met Shanti was at a full moon jam, and he was just like making me feel so comfortable, and we were jamming together, and I was just able to really express myself. And it's just like these gifts that you give us every day, you started out just blessing us in those ways with your handiwork and your music, and you're just like encouragement.
I'm getting all Father Sean misty-eyed over here. I was gonna say, do you remember that full moon jam, what I was doing that night?
Yeah, you were wearing that rabbit mask and you were reading out of a poetry book.
Yeah.
And we were like singing out of this poetry book, but it was like a children's like.
What was it? It was time for poetry, and it was really cool. There were a lot of really cool poems in that book.
But you were just hilarious, like, oh my God.
Thank you.
Since day one, wow.
Oh my God, and the tiny home thing, right? I was actually, so all the Rona stuff was going down, and I was in Atlanta, and I'd been playing in all these psychedelic rock bands, and so there was the comedy punk band, The Dandles, with Gary Eddy. A band called Sadfish, which was like a Brazilian, is currently, and they're still doing their thing out in Atlanta, but they're like a Brazilian surf rock band, and then I started doing a project called Snow Daisy and all this stuff. And anyways, I was working on an art project, making a giant sort of helix that's like half in and out of the ground, cool. out of privet trees.
Oh wow!
That we harvested. My friend JD, who you guys have met out in Atlanta, he got approved to do this, through the parks. So we were working on it, and then my situation at the crib was getting challenging, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna hold out for like the next sort of like sign, just let the magic, because it's like kind of just like hole up and just do my like personal work and meditate and self-analyze and go to the track and stretch and go for hikes, just whatever, go get out in nature, and I just know everything's gonna work out, even if it's kind of crazy right now with all this social collapse, and then sure enough, Gary Eddy. So praise be to Gary Eddy.
Praise be to Gary.
Praise be to Gary. We love you, Gary.
Look up Gary Eddy, the song.
Gary Eddy.
Which I definitely have enshrined Gary Eddy in so many of my like hilarious pop tracks and stuff. But then I started working on that house because it sounded like you were kind of upside down in it, and it was like crazy. And I started renting that room over there, and it was like, yeah, man, I'm not doing anything else right now. This world is crazy, and I would just love to sink my time and attention. So it was very simpatico, And then, dude, like, I'm midstream, I get bit by a brown recluse spider.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Camping in my friend's backyard, who a friend who is a member of this collective that I'm a part of called the Land Trust Jam Fam.
Mhm.
That is, I like to affectionately refer to as a circle of gnomes.
Yes.
And
You
yeah.
are very gnomey. You've got lots of gnomies.
And the more you meet him, you're like, he's not.
He's not kidding.
He's really not kidding.
These are actual gnomes.
What's your bio? What's your bio?
If you don't know me by now.
You don't know me right now. Right.
I mean, aren't we all though? Like
Oh,
you can
yeah.
put them, but you know, and we're all Muppets and gnomes and stuff. If you put that filter on it, you know.
Right.
And when you do, I think the world becomes a little less exhausting,
Yeah.
and things get you get like a better perspective of just like even the uglier things that you might have thought about people in the world that you know or observe or like whatever. When you kind of frame it up that way, it becomes more like, what's the word, like I guess endearing.
Mm.
People become like less like, and you're just like, oh, they're just a Muppet, and
Yeah.
but they don't know, but that's okay, you know. And when you can put that the gnome Muppet
Yeah.
filter on things, I think helps life a little bit.
You hear that? Great advice from Shanti. We're all just some Muppets.
Just Muppets. Put your Muppet glasses on and just
Yeah.
enjoy the ride. Maybe I do feel like, or your rabbit gun, but I do feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I do feel like if the world could come under the Muppet filter, just perhaps, you know, we could
Embrace the
And-
silly.
embrace a little bit of the silly, a little bit of the archetypal, because when there are people out there that are archetypally up to no good, and they're the Muppets that are like the bad guys in the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's so obvious when you put the Muppet filter. I think we could change the world,
Yeah.
the big stage. I think that's what we're here to do. But
All the world's a stage.
all the world is.
All the men and women.
That's right.
really players. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, don't I know it?
Yep.
The board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, like where you're from.
Oh wow.
What's your story? Where you're headed?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Powder Springs. Originally Powder Springs, Georgia. Yeah, I'm a native, and I grew up in Powder Springs. Went to Powder Springs Elementary,
Nice.
and it was this antiquitous kind of an older establishment, like maybe from 50s or 40s or something.
Mhm.
Really cool school that I went to growing up, and lived next to a library. Just me and our little family. Well, actually, you know, my parents, my mom's from England, and Kent, England, and my dad is from Massapequa, Long Island, and they met in Moscow.
What the?
My dad is in the
Wait,
military.
hold up. Are you Russian?
I don't
Somebody
know.
call the CIA.
I don't know.
We need to get this guy out of here. He once went to Russia.
He
Get him out.
once knew a Russian. He's gotta
Jail.
go.
You're gonna be deplatformed now. I'm sorry.
I know, canceled.
Canceled.
It's my biggest. No, they they met in Russia, and my dad was on Secret Service with the military,
Oh wow.
and my
Cool.
mom was a not a nurse. What is it? A nanny.
A nanny.
A
Yeah, yeah.
nanny, similar, I
Nurse-like.
guess. In Moscow, kind of running away from her situation in England at that time. And anyways, they met, fell in love, got married in Moscow, and then moved to Georgia.
Okay.
I don't know why. In
Wow.
like the 70s.
Wow.
And then in 1979, that's when I was born into not really
Hallelujah.
Powder Springs. Thank you. Hallelujah. But I was born and raised in Paulding County, where we had lot of like early crazy stuff going down. Like I remember people like egging our house and like firebombing each other in the neighborhood,
What the?
and just like really insane stuff. Like I was just walking up the street, 4 years old, look over and there's this lady just blood pouring out,
Oh my
just
God.
jumped out of a window.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, just like what, like all this nutso stuff. So my parents were like, we got to get out of here. And so yeah, they found this old, it was a 1920s home with a well in the backyard. It was so
Ooh.
cool, but it was so, we cried when we saw it, like not happiness, like we were so freaked out. Like we walked into there was like a 2-car garage, but it was just full of junk, and in the back someone had spray painted "Drop Dead."
Oh wow.
And I'll never forget just my brother and I like, no, we don't want to live here. But you know, my dad was an electrician and you know, a handyman type. So he started just fixing it up one day at a time. Before you knew it, we had a pretty cool little house in Powder Springs next to a library.
Nice.
And
You picked up a lot of your handyman skills from old Pop.
oh yeah,
Nice.
oh yeah. My dad just always, you know, classic military dad.
Yeah.
You know, pull the wire through.
Mhm.
You're not going fast enough.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Right.
But I love, you know, but he's got a heart of gold. He
Yeah.
really is. He's a king. You know.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, you know, military dad. So.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. So right now you're getting legit to be a handyman
Yep.
and
Shanti Khan Unlimited LLC.
That's right. Yep.
yay,
One of our
official blow the whistle.
That's right. We've got a lot of office tenants here. Sean's one of them. He's got his tiny office here,
Yep.
and it's like a mobile recording studio,
Yep.
entertainment service.
Tools.
He's got a
All
ton
kinds
of
of tool
tools,
stuff.
and
Weed
he
eaters.
can fix a lot of things that
everything.
might break.
I
his
do
heart.
everything.
He does it all.
He
So-
also runs our open mic.
Yep.
He,
MC.
Every
he-
Tuesday.
Yeah, he's such
hosts-
an MC. Yeah, Mondays and Thursdays.
Play weddings, birthdays,
Yep.
He hosts our song circle.
host song circles. yeah.
Mondays and Thursdays.
He
yeah.
really just holds it down.
It's a complete legend.
Aw, back at you guys.
Rabbit hole would not be the same without you.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I feel very blessed every day to like wake up and just get to, you know, move the ball forward and
Yeah.
you know, grow this dream, you know, the podcasts, the NFT record labels,
Hidden hair. Yeah.
all this
We got
stuff.
a lot of good stuff
God,
coming
so
down
much
the pipe.
exciting. Oh yeah, and then I just had that song in a movie, so we released an album on Hidden Hair Records.
Yeah. Tell us
On-
about that.
78678 being 8 spelled out ATE, and it's an album, kind of a compilation of. So they picked this song "Dying to Tell You," and it's on about track 6 or something on the album, but really like it's an amalgamation of a lot of stuff from back in the day and around the same time that track that they chose was recorded, and the same like kind of pulling from the same anything that I might have recorded over the years. So some of this stuff's like between 10 years old, some of it's brand new, you know, and it's got a lot of banjo, electronic interplay, lots of different like worlds, lots of different like rides, you know. It goes up, takes you on, very dreamy. But yes, it was on a film. It was chosen to be in the opening credits of a film called Without Ward. Martin Landau's very last film to date.
Wow.
So he passed away during. And what's crazy is this movie. This is all conceived of, shot, filmed, all this stuff before COVID, and the premise is like, what would happen if you couldn't leave your house?
Whoa.
Wow.
Creepy.
And Michael Gladys is in it too from Mad Men. He's kind of the main character, and looks super wacky. I still have not seen it yet.
Oh my God, can we watch it?
Yeah,
We
we're
got
wanting
it.
on Sundays to do movie night after, we have Garden Day on Sunday, and then our drum circle, and then like
That's right.
a paint party kind of potluck hour, and then movie night to
Movie-
end it all on Sunday Fun Day.
We have to do it coming up. This, as you guys know, I'm growing this business, so I gotta take care of some
Totally.
folks.
Yeah.
But coming soon, let's do the Sunday viewing of it. So
Yeah.
look out for that.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was kind of a cool thing. But because they had chosen this, I had to get something up. I have hundreds of years of music all written, recorded, and produced and stuff. But I had to cobble this together and release it because I don't really have anything under Shanti Conley.
Right.
So that's the first. So like we looked at the DistroKid, upgraded it to record label status,
Yep.
and then we're like, yeah, let's just like do it, So
Yep.
that album's up there if you want to check it out. But there's a lot more to come, and some of the collaborations I've done since with studio musicians here are freaking unbelievable.
Yep.
Like Buffon and Keaton. And
Yeah.
some of these people.
Really excited for our first Hidden Hair session that's
Oh,
going to
yep.
be on April 24th. Gonna get all of our creative friends together, musicians together, and make some magic and release it on our NFT.
It's gonna be lit.
Art gallery
So lit.
record label.
I wanted to share with you guys some more information, some more of my upcoming
Yes.
from back in the Dizzy.
Yeah.
The story of like because you were asking where I come from and all that stuff, and I was like, was born and raised in Powder Springs, but there are some pretty interesting. It's been an interesting ride, and I think you know a little bit about that already. But I had my daughter, and right after high school, my daughter Zoe.
Wow.
My dad being military, like I mentioned, and her mother's father being a pastor of a Southern Baptist church.
Wow.
And so that was big, a big life lesson pretty early. And so, we went through that right at the end of, and oh my God, it was so intense. And so anyways, we just couldn't conceive of like not having our daughter after, and had Zoe, and then later the dad like left the family, and that was a crazy.
Wow.
So this Southern Baptist preacher like left the family because he'd been cheating on the mom.
Oh wow.
And then like I go in the military to be just under open general contract because my dad was like, you got to go in the military, da da da. And I get in there and oh my God, it wasn't bad. I went through the steps, but then like when I got to the end, we'll have to share this stuff on a different. We're just gonna skip right ahead. Anyways, I got an entry-level separation, and it was like if you've ever seen the movie Stripes with like Bill Murray, it was like an epic military comedy movie. It's the only way I can describe how this all went down. It was so funny, dude.
Like you just cracking jokes to the what do they call the sergeant
TIs.
or whatever? TI.
The TIs. I don't even want to tell you. Some of the stuff that went down is just not fit for the podcast. I think it's inappropriate, but it was so funny. Oh my God. If you're ever curious and you see me out there, you're welcome to ask me about it. I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna get it recorded. But yeah, then I moved back and I lived on a water park.
What?
Yeah, my buddy's dad owned a water park, and he was like, "Hey, let's just there's an apartment in the back. Let's just like rent it out and start a band."
That's so cool.
Yeah, so we started a band called Nard Barber. That was because his barber's name was Nard.
Right.
So Nard Barber.
Wow.
And then just kept. I mean, this is just the way it was. And then later, living different houses around Marietta, and then having this other project with another roommate, Nobody and the Something or Others, on to Bipolar Bear. And then
I like that. So many good names.
I know, all your band names are incredible.
And all the recordings are too from back in the Dizzy, but which I'm gonna be I'll just like release every time, just like let it, and it'll be all up in
we need to get you on the website with
Yeah.
all your links and all your projects.
I
like,
know,
you're one of the most
consolidated.
prolific creators
Thank you,
I've
brother.
met.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of your songs just are incredible, and I find myself singing them throughout the day, and they just like give me so much joy
Yeah.
and really turn some knobs for me. I
And-
love it.
And you know, like the thing is, the ones that you know aren't really shared with a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
and that's, I guess now that I've kind of put that 786, I do want to start to sort of catalog and create some record of all the stuff that I've been doing, and you know,
Right.
so there's that. But then after, I wanted to say, after that, then that's when I wound up at, oh my God. So many crazy incarnations of Shanti Conlon. Oh my God. You know, I had a period of my life where I lived in a different sort of similar communal situation, co-opical, ecocentric. By the way, I don't know if you're out there and you don't know about Rabbit Hole Studios, we're very centered on agriculture, sustainability. We have like the edible forest, the gardens, the beekeeping.
The herb garden, the apothecary, the just like nursery area, fruit tree forest.
It's like a Mack truck of awesomeness, of agri awesomeness, you know. And that was so like the big house when I got there was kind of like almost like an apartment complex in a mansion.
Yeah, tell us about this big house.
Yeah, I thought
this
you
mystical, legendary place in Atlanta.
where I met Gary Eddy. So
Right.
so yeah, I had been in a relationship after the military with a really special lady that we spent a lot of time together and had a really crazy ride and fun times, traveling the world and doing all kinds of stuff. Then if you want to know more about that, you can talk to me. But that was fun and everything, but it was also crazy, and that's when I had like kind of a come to Jesus thing on a mountain, and after all the pressure of the family stuff with my daughter, and had that like you know, third eye pizza pie awakening. So and that involved like wizards and demons and angels and metaphysical stuff going down on top of a mountain. And yeah, but we'll skip right ahead over that, just glaze right into it, and then get on to where I had to
And that was while you were at the big house.
no, this is right before the big house.
Okay.
And there was this, I remember the whole time, there was this widespread panic theme throughout all of that stuff. And what's so crazy is that I basically like dropped out of the 9-to-5 reality on a leap of faith and wound up at the big house, which was the artist Flournoy Holmes' spot, and he did a lot of the album cover artwork for Widespread Panic, and also Allman Brothers and so many others. And when I was staying there, it was just kind of, like I said, more or less just like an apartment tenant space that was just kind of, you know, it was super thriving, but there wasn't a lot going on the grounds. And then so my friend Liam and I got together and we started this thing called the Power of Now Garden. Basically, we were sitting in a thing, and he was kind of hipping me to all this like sustainable permaculture. I had already kind of back, you know, when I was with that person, Rosa was her name, but when we were together, we did a lot of mushroom cultivation. So we learned a lot about. Had already kind of been primed for that, but now at this new space, we were kind of like looking at the space, like my friend Liam and I having this conversation. It was like, well, for all the talk about permaculture around here, where are the gardens? And he was like, I hear what you're saying. And then he's like, and we're just kind of sitting there. We had just busted a hole in a wall.
Power of now.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, this is what. So Liam says, he's like, well, he was like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. He was like, well, okay. So this week I have finals. He's a Georgia Tech scientist and working specifically in food availability and as they, you know, underserved communities, et cetera, in urban settings. Anyway, so he's sitting there, and I'm like, "What?" Well, he's like, and we were just having a day, you know. And I was like, "Well, what about now?" And he was like, well, and he starts going like, well, I didn't, okay, well, yeah, I guess I could put that thing, yeah, okay, now, huh. He's like, okay, well, I can't, but the one thing is that I can't find my seeds. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. And I kid you freaking not. He leans back in his chair to put his hands behind his head, knocks over a tin, and seeds go everywhere.
Whoa.
Wow.
And so I looked at him and was like, what about now? And then we made this garden.
Oh,
We
wow.
went
That's
and rented a
incredible.
tiller. It was awesome. We rented a tiller. We got garlic, carrots, all this stuff going down. A little keyhole garden style thing. And then from there it was called Power Now. And then we
Ooh. And what was the music scene at the big house? Because I know you just gained a lot of
Yeah.
experience with community and permaculture and events, holding
Yep.
events that you've really brought to Rabbit Hole too. And,
Yep.
And we've discussed a lot of things, and you've definitely put in your wisdom in our meetings.
more to come too,
Mhm.
and made a lot of networks at the big house. But a lot of great bands back in the day. A band that I was playing in at the time, the Dandles, I mentioned before, formed there. We had Shitty Bedford. That's his name. But look up his Bandcamp. Don't sleep on it, because he is one of the most ingenious people I've ever come. The Buffalo Bangers. That was Cooper, who's the son of Florida, that owned.
Mhm.
So there was the Buffalo Bangers, Shetty Bedford, Shetty. I like to call him Shetty because he builds so much, but Shetty Bedwad, who amazing. Just look it up. And then Stone Rider was another. We had Fawn and a Pan Flute. We had such an amazing scene at that time.
Yeah.
And basically, I was just kind of, me and my buddies were putting together these like about 3-band shows. We'd get a lineup: Christ Lord, Dandles.
Mhm.
I'm just naming bands, but
Mhm.
Fawn and Flam Fleet. Do you guys know them?
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wait, no, I do.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah. I in the scene,
Yeah.
And so anyways, like, yeah, I guess Buffalo Bangers is now kind of split off into a band called Evil English, and
Oh, I've seen them. They're really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
you remember
So-
that Christmas thing that I made? She animated that.
Oh, cool.
A present
Awesome.
for Santa on YouTube.
So the big house really brought a lot of creative individuals together
Tons.
to work on projects together.
It was
And-
awesome.
And a lot of content was created.
Everybody felt so free and like connected and respectful of each other and like vibing, man. Like
Mhm.
we were foodies. We were
Yeah.
just starting composts and gardens and keeping bees,
Wow.
and it was just so hitting.
It's just so rabbit hole. I'm just like,
It
yeah,
is.
Yeah, it's
we're,
so
we're
beautiful.
following in the footsteps of an ancient tradition.
It's funny how all the big house, even in my observation and for my microcosm,
Mhm.
how all that played out, like how during, I felt like, I should probably not speak on it being
Well,
recorded, but
Let me just share my experience
Yeah,
with
okay.
all this, right?
Okay,
So
cool.
I meet Gary Eddy, who
yeah.
works at the 40 Watt as a big club in town where my band's played in the past, and which, by the way, maybe I shouldn't. Let's just say the management at 40 Watt has let Gary go,
Yeah.
and we're not happy about it because he's one of the
Yeah.
greatest sound guys in town.
I
And,
know. Poor 40 Watt Club. They
it's-
they
it
don't know what
sucks,
they're missing.
yeah.
They've just made a big mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Too bad,
well.
too bad.
There's other great venues in town.
I know.
Like
Oh,
Rabbit
dude.
Hole Studios.
Yes, we got a huge. We
Yeah.
have
Come on,
the
Gary.
best sound.
Come on, Gary. We'll
Come
take
on
you.
over, Gary. We got you.
But yeah, so I meet Gary and just love the guy.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. He
So
Which, by
funny.
the way, he came into I met him early, just before I moved to the big house. I became part of, during that time. Oh my God, how could I not mention Hurricanes of Love, Sirius B, all these other people? But there's so many. But anyways, like this whole group, just like the way the Rabbit Hole came together all
All
at
at the same time.
That's how
Right.
the big.
It
That's
was
how
like-
that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a portal. This
It is.
big house used to be a Masonic lodge,
Yes,
right?
that's true,
And
yep.
there's like this all-seeing eye painting on one of the top
Yes.
floors, and
It was
It's-
known around town that if you go in, you're gonna come out different.
yeah, yep. And it's like right next door to
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
another temple. What is it? The Shriner
exactly.
Temple.
Yeah.
A beautiful, beautiful
Mhm.
building.
The
It's
Arab. Yeah.
it's got a lot of Middle
History.
Eastern
Yeah. Oh yeah.
architectural elements.
But you know, one thing we used to kind of laugh about is the way that they had this like Shriner holding a kid who had like a crutch, and the entire place was just concrete and sod. And then next door we had this. It was like a yin yang in my mind, like you know
Yeah.
this bastion of hidden bastion of sustainability of the
Yeah.
big house
Uh-huh.
next to this place of like, come on in, we'll help you. Like,
Right.
not really. When
Yeah.
you look around, it's just like sod, concrete,
Uh-huh.
roller derby, and I don't anything
They
else.
did roller derby. At
That's
that
what they.
restaurant?
Yes, that was one of their biggest things.
Oh wow.
Dude, and every time I'd go there, they had the Star Wars thing. They'd always have like the like stormtroopers or Darth Vader, but never like any of the bright side. I always thought that was really weird.
Interesting.
By the way, Rebel Hill Studios has roller skates. And
That's right.
You
Yeah.
can rent them out.
But
for
you're
our
not.
events. It's so
Please
fun.
no tackling.
Yeah. But yeah, that place is totally a portal. I actually knew the owner's son years before I met Gary or you,
I love.
and it
Uber's-
turns out like
It makes-
his dad and I both like drink ayahuasca from time to time, and there's just all these crazy coincidences that like brought us together, and the fact that the rabbit hole is just like following in the footsteps of this creative
1,000%.
urban commune, if you will.
And when it-
Except, of course, nobody lives here, unfortunately, because
That's right.
the zoning laws are antiquated and
Yep.
oppressive. But,
Mm-mm-mm.
we live elsewhere, and we just choose to spend most
Yep.
of our time here. And,
It's awesome. It's awesome.
We're still carrying the flame of that,
Yep.
that
We're still
creative
family. And,
tradition. Yeah.
you
There's
know.
a lot to be done. A lot to be done.
Yep.
So yeah, and you're right. And it's almost like Big House 2.0.
Yeah.
You know,
It is
just big
yeah.
house with a lot more resources and
Yeah.
like ability to put on bigger shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember our first days of sitting at the square table, but round table,
round table, yeah.
and just discussing all of these dreams that we've had. Just
Vision
like,
boarding.
Yeah, and just speaking it, and then like, all right, how can we make it happen? And once we started really communicating, it was just like ever since then, like we've been knocking it out
Yep.
just day after day. And I'm so grateful to wake up and just share this devotion with you and with Nick, and
It's really
wow.
It's been special. We got a lot of really cool characters and really talented people coming through too. So, and a lot of these little Athens acts. I've been looking at, there's an Athens live music page. I've been kind of scouting for like who should be playing here out there. Dreaming up the Covfefe Select type of thing. Bunaroo, exactly.
Yeah.
Bunaroo. I cannot wait for Bunaroo. But this coming week, I'm pretty busy. I'm gonna be. My daughter just got her house on an old muscadine farm up in
Cool.
Commerce. So,
Woohoo.
Wow.
so yeah, we're doing her housewarming party, which I got a mailbox from,
Oh,
Marissa.
Marissa
one of
Mustard,
our
yeah.
members.
who also did the album cover for my album 786, and
He's also gonna do our mural for our mushroom co-op.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what else she did?
Culinary mushrooms.
Strange Duck Brewery.
Oh, she did a painting there?
No, lots of stuff all around it, like buses are painted.
Oh,
She did a
wow.
lot of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Cool.
So that's where Zoe got married,
Cool. Yeah.
right? And on Valentine's Day to Dane Valentine,
Wow.
and now her name is Zoe Valentine, and there's a freaking TV show called Zoe Valentine that just randomly
What?
popped up out
Oh
of
my
nowhere.
God.
It's like
wow.
on marathon for round the clock. They show this show. It's so weird. But anyways, Lilani, I got a mailbox for their house. So.
Nice.
Strange Duck
Heck yeah.
vibes.
So I guess to wrap this all up, what do you wanna see moving forward, and
Just daily knocking it out, and I mean, I don't think there. I just
Stay the course.
yeah, stay the course. That's right. And I think it's.
mm-hmm.
I think our efforts are, you know, the fruits are just as it is. It's just the same as the garden. The more
Absolutely.
that they like to grow, that's what they do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna keep on growing and
I just wanted to hear you say that.
Love
going.
Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, let's see. I have all the stuff. I've got a TikTok under Shanti Content, ShantiContnt, ShantiCon, Sean Sean. This is terrible branding. Let's see. I have a.
We gotta get you a link tree where
I know.
where we can just put it all together.
I got
Right.
too much stuff. There's Peyton Covfefe
Well,
and
Yeah, we're gonna
For
get
all
you
our-
a
Snow Daisy. And
For our listeners, by the time this podcast is released, we'll have a spot on the website for you
Awesome.
where you can find all the information you want about Sean's creative projects and
Yes.
contact info.
yeah, that's it. That's all
Yeah.
that there is to say about it. And
Yeah.
you know, again, just keep looking out because we'll be just releasing a ton more content through Rabbit Hole Studios.
Yep.
And there you go. You know, you can find me at Rabbit Hole Studios wherever Rabbit Hole Studios is.
Yes.
So
RabbitHoleStudios.org.
Yep.
It's the website. Check it out.
Well, that concludes our podcast, episode 6. Thank you for joining us all, and we look forward to next time.
bye bye.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. I thought that went well.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
amazing.
That was awesome. I think it's interest. I try to keep it like really interesting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're a great
No, all that
Yeah.
you are
Always.
is
I know. It's like I've
beautiful.
worked my whole life as my art
Yeah.
piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how else to tell